SPS Monday Motivations, talking about principles and passion. Principles and passion. Going to get started. You can always rewind the tape. Really happy to be up this morning. It was a late night. As many of you may have saw, I posted a new role I'm taking on, some growth for me, taking on the director and producer role of Jack Ebling's Fox 47 Press Pass. It is a great opportunity. It wasn't until I saw the outpouring on social media for the post I made about it that really gave me even greater appreciation. Patricia England. Hey, mother. So fortunate I can see you online, but talk to you before my show, talk to you after the show. I'm very fortunate. We are. Mother, we're just going to get started. I'm just talking about how can appreciate that. Michelle, Mimi Watkins, how do you do? You set your timer, or you already up? So consistent with the support, Michelle. I really appreciate it. Thank you for posting that you received a copy of the book. There have been mail delays. Cuz, what's up, Cuz? How you doing? Thanks for your note, too. There have been some delays with the mail. I didn't post about that, but it's true. So with that, we'll get started. We're talking about passion and principles. Principles and passion. Get right to it. If you have been able to get a copy of the book, The SPS The Guide to Mental Toughness. Michelle, what do you say? I'm up, but I set an alarm so I don't miss it. I appreciate that. All right, I know you're up, getting it going. SPSEdge, The Guide to Mental Toughness in Sports and Life Post-COVID-19. Michelle was one of the great supporters of the book, and I appreciate that. And I want to say chapter 3, as I turn and flip. Excuse me for not being able to just quote everything. I talk about going to the next level. Going to the next level, indeed. Forrest, what's up, brother? Good to see you. And I think last night's post was an example of next level for me being able to get the opportunity to come on Fox 47. Jack Ebling's Press Pass has been a great friend and mentor for several years, but it made me even reflect on from whence I came. And I use that as an example when we're talking about going to the next level with whatever it is you want to do. Me going from being with Forrest Bory at Moneyball, doing interviews with individuals and getting my camera and investing in myself to be at a point where I can be on a major news station, producing and directing a major influential sports program. And it's been great being in front of the camera, but many of you may recognize what happens when you're behind the camera. Thanks, cuz, as well. Brother Swift, good morning. So when I talk about next level, the example I used then was my work with USA Basketball, particularly a youth development division. And even last night I was able to wear one of my USA Basketball youth development shirts, which has been part of my growth coming here. Yeah, thank you. I'm becoming a producer. Yeah, I'm appreciative of that. I'm reminded of a point in the book, and I want to thank Lamira Huddleston, my stepmom, for pointing out how that impacted her when I talk about PD squares. Wu Payne in the building. PD squared. Your player development leads to your professional development, meaning the things that you work on for yourself, things that you work on day by day, like Wu Payne in the Wu League, just working on that leads to his professional development. Because I look at Wu as he pops up on my timeline, and he's been working on the Wu League for years, but he's also been able, good morning, Stephanie, thanks for checking in. He's also been able to transition over to Henry Ford College as a coach there. So the things that he's worked on that were his passion, if you will, have been able to help him in his professional development. So PD square, your professional development, your player development leads to your professional development. I tell my players all the time, I talk about in the book, if you're running suicides, going back and forth on the lines, but you don't touch the lines. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Make your moves. That's it, bro. That's what we got to do. When you're going back and forth, Mike in the building, man, I just thought about you a while ago. I'm glad you're doing okay. Again, when you're running these lines, if you don't touch the line every time, not only are you cheating your team, you're cheating yourself. And when it comes down to you making that next move, whether it's going mainstream or what you want to do, going to the next level, you're going to be shorted for that. Benjamin, good morning, man. Thanks for the support. Let's talk about a beautiful car. And whatever car you drive is a beautiful car, no matter what, if you're driving a Jaguar or whatever you may drive. And it's your car, it's what you have, and you're grateful for it. But I would like to make the reference that the car will represent the principles. The car is going to represent the principles you have in your life. Why? Because when you buy a car, in most cases, you don't just get it on a whim. You know, you invest in it, you research it, you think about it, you go over it over and over, you compare. I mean, the principles are really very important. Do I want an SUV? Do I want a two-door? Do I want a four-door? You know, what kind of gas mileage do I want to get? All these things, in most cases, we take into account, especially if we're at a position where we can have the discretionary income to pick and choose. We may even put more time into the trim that we have on it. We may put more time into what kind of wheels we have. But I would liken the car in this discussion, everyone, to be the principles. But even with the greatest car, you still have to put gas in it. You still have to put gas in it to go. You can have the best looking car in the world in your garage, in front of your home, or wherever it may be, but if you don't put gas in it, it won't move. So I would liken the gas, the petroleum, to being the passion that we need. You got principles, folks, and you got passion. Some of us may even have electric cars. We may even moved on. Lindsay, I don't need gas. I got a Tesla. You know, I got an electric car. I got a Prius. I can plug in. But even still, you need some energy to make that go. So even though you have this vehicle, you need something to plug into, which are the principles that I'm talking about. Excuse me, the passion I'm talking about. Because even if you have a great car, if your car is on E, you can't go anywhere. It can be the nicest car you want. It can be your dream car. It can be the most beautiful car you've always wanted to have. If you don't have any gas in the tank, you can't go anywhere. So with the car being the principles, the gas is the passion. So we need both, equally as much. We need both. You can't have one without the other, but they serve different roles. So what I want to get at, folks, today is you don't want to live for your passion without having principles in place. Because if you live for your passion, you just gas with no car. You're like walking around with a gas tank full of gas, or a gallon of gas that you'll get from the gas station, but you don't have anything to put it in. So it's really about the principles have to be driven by your passion. It's really about the principles. So what principles do you adhere to? I use my current situation. For me, getting up every day, whether it's the Monday Motivation, the SPS Mental Toughness Zoom class on Thursdays, Mo Benson in the building, or all those interviews and podcasts I did with so many of you who are out there over time, those were the principles. I kept doing it. I kept doing it. I kept doing it. Rain, sleet, or snow, no matter how I was perceived, and it began to grow. And because I was passionate about it, it ended up being a situation where what I was able to share with you guys last night, where there was an opportunity that presented itself and I was ready to step into it. I thank Jack Ebling for that support. But what do we have going on in our lives right now that we are passionate about and we need to work on every day? These things you need to work on that you're passionate about, but you can't live on the passion alone. The passion alone won't do it. Because if you don't take that passion and put that around some strong principles, it won't mean anything. You'll just be screaming and hollering, meaning you'll just be putting a lot of effort into things. But what principles do you go back to? Good morning, Latoya. Thanks for the support. What's up to the Mac brothers? You guys had a great weekend too. All you're doing to get out the vote. Appreciate you, brothers. These young men are a perfect example. The Mac brothers. If you don't know about the Mac brothers out of Detroit, you need to check them out. These young men are all about doing great things as young entrepreneurs, entertainers, moguls in the making, no doubt. But it goes back to the principles. They're on their game on a regular basis. They're not just passionate about their music. They're not just passionate about their entrepreneurship. It's the principles that went into that. And their mother, Latoya Mack, had a great role in that. So what am I getting at on this day, guys? You got to have gas in the tank. The gas in the tank is the passion. You got to stay passionate, but it can't be passion alone. It needs to be based in some strong principles that you're willing to commit to, that you're willing to live off of. And that's a good thing going forward. And then if it takes some time to get some new invigoration for your passion, I used a slide from last week. What is it that's a visual that really made you happy? What's the visual that really takes you to a place where you feel good about yourself? I think about some golf. I'm going to get out today and play some golf. Whether I play with somebody or play by myself, my point being is always have that. And this is the passion that drives you. But you still got to have that, principle that you're basing things on, because we want to get you back to these good vibes that we're talking about. You don't want to just be going through doing things and not feeling a great type of feeling to be able to help yourself and help others. It's all about that great energy we talked about last week. Those good vibes all the way around. So with that, folks, on this Monday Motivation, I want you to recognize the importance of both principles and passion. Principles and passion. What principles do you have that are time tested that can help you going forward? But also, what's your passion? You have to have both. Principles are the car, passion is the gas. You need both of those to get by. And as I talk about in the book, don't forget your training. It's the training that we come back to. It's the things that we do over and over again. Justin, good morning, brother. Thanks for checking in. It's the things that we do over and over again. A young man right there is doing great things. Justin Ingram, Coach Ingram, was a great basketball player, played on the professional levels, doing great things in the coaching capacity. University of Toledo. I use you as an example, brother, as someone who's doing some great things. But he had to be consistent. There were times he had to go in the gym where he probably didn't want to and nobody was checking for him, but he had to get in there. He had to be out there. And it's not that we're looking for someone to be our savior, to say, you did a good job, here's an opportunity. But if you continue to work at things, the universe is going to respond to that. It responds in ways that we never thought about, because you never know who's watching, who's looking, and what opportunities you're preparing yourself for. So be about your principles, folks, and live to those principles. And don't be overwhelmed with emotion. I talk about emotional control, but don't be overwhelmed with emotion. Lawrence, good morning, brother. Don't be overwhelmed with emotion when it comes down to what you want to do next. Come back to those principles that are important to you. And if you don't have those principles that are important to you now, work on developing that, no matter what age you are. What are two or three things that you have to live by? It don't have to be a long list. It could be 2 or 3 things that you have to be able to live by, and then let your passion fuel that. So with that, guys, I won't keep you too much longer on this SPS Monday Motivation. I appreciate you. I use this image right here about getting your mental strength up. Dan Ringo in the building. Good morning, brother. Appreciate you. That's another principled brother right there. Very principled. And although he's passionate, whether it's about boxing or whatever it may be, he's principled when it comes to that. Benjamin, you know the Ingrams, huh? AJ, Jocelyn, Justin, shutting out the whole family at Waverly. Absolutely right. So with that, guys, whatever principles you have is very important. Having principles will pay off. And passion is important, but you want to have the emotional control to be able to make sure that that passion can fuel those principles to get the success you want. This is part of your mental strength, your mental health part. Terry, good morning, man. Thanks for all that you're doing on Press Pass too. It's all about, being strong mentally to be able to prepare yourself to go to whatever next level is waiting for you. And you never know. You never know. I had my head down doing my work with my goals, my vision, and because of that, the work I was producing was recognized to present an opportunity with me that I think if I keep staying true to my principles will lead to other great opportunities. But the last thing I'll say is let us not always get caught up in what's next and be more committed to what's now. That's a principle for me. Stay present in the moment. Put your head down, do the work, and make things happen for future opportunities. So I won't keep you guys. We're getting about 14 minutes. I want to wish everybody a great week. These COVID times are real, man. These COVID times are real. So no matter your political persuasion, what you may think, I think it's all agreed that we're in the best. Good morning, Tracy. We're putting ourselves in the best situation if we mask up, continue to social distance, and recognize that even though we want to get our children back in school, we want to get football and other sports going, it's going to take work on our part to get it there. So that's all I'll say. I appreciate you guys. I hope you can take something positive from this SPS Monday Motivation. It's all about your principles and your passion. Let your passion be the fuel in the car and let your principles be the vehicle itself to get you through. You need them both. All right, with that, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for checking in.